So season 2, obviously, visual effects built off of season 1. There's a lot more going on. What challenges presented themselves in season 2 that you didn't have in season 1?
I can't really speak to season 1 because I wasn't a part of it. Myself, like Andy, we both came in 3/4 of the way through season 2, the shooting portion of it. So I can't really speak to that. Some of our challenges, though, from my personal job, my perspective, is we work globally, right? So we have, as the VFX producer, we have teams of people who are with us on set in the visual effects. We have teams of people who are in post-production at the same time, and sometimes we have people, and like myself, I'm in LA, but I bounce around. We also have multiple units shooting in multiple places, multiple countries even at the same time. So the logistics is probably, I would say, is like one of the things that's harder. But
with a show like The Wheel of Time, obviously it's on a very grand scale, so the visual effects for background scenery and locales is going to be a huge aspect of things. But the show is really based on magic users. So what is it like trying to create those visual effects and then kind of choreograph that with the actors and kind of meld both the physical acting with the visual effects, like for channeling the one power and things like that?
The hardest thing for us to do as just an entity as visual effects is to make something that's magical in a photoreal environment, right? How do you make something that's magical look organic or fit into the scenes that work and interact with the characters and the environment, right? So that's probably the most challenging thing. And there's a lot of like detail that goes into that. I think probably Andy could speak to that better, but I think he might have spoke to you guys already.
So coming into this show, you said you joined about 3/4 of the way through into season 2. Was there any particular moment that, like, when you got the notes, you were really excited to approach, or?
I mean, my part's very practical. It's not nearly as exciting as the creative people you spoke to already. So, for me, the part that's exciting is to figure out how to globally accomplish putting out this product in a time frame, and with those potential concerns about being in multiple places. I'm really more like the efficiency side of it, which is not so interesting and fun. But it's part of what makes the whole thing work, right? So it's a lot of logistics. Not nearly as exciting as an answer. It's true though, but that's how without all that other stuff that goes on in the background, it would be really hard to accomplish the things that you do get to see on screen. So that's what we do.
Can you provide any insights into the collaboration between VFX team and the other departments in the production, such as art department or costume design, to create a cohesive visual experience in the series?
Yeah, I mean, this is probably one of the most collaborative shows I probably have ever worked on, and that starts with Rafe all the way down. So we're really integrated with all the departments, costume, like you said, hair and makeup even, stunts, production design. We work closely from when we get the first scripts and the breakdowns, and then we all sit together to try to figure out, okay, what's practical, and what do we need extensions on? What can we do to help augment the system to make it feasible to actually shoot? We work with all of them every day, and we take a lot of inspiration from them, which is great. It honestly is probably like the best show I've ever worked on in like one of the last 27 years, as far as like collaboration and good people. And there's a lot of open dialogue. It just takes a lot of communication, and it's pretty good.
I was going to ask, I just lost the question.
It's all right.
It's all right. It will come back to me, though. if anybody else wants to ask in the meantime, sorry.
You mentioned, that you're more on the logistical side of things, and one of the challenges is trying to keep things organic. Have there been any instances where the visionaries come to you and say, "Here's what we need to do," and you look at the logistics of it and say, "Yeah, I'm not sure we can do that."
Yeah, but we do that constantly. So that's part of that communication that happens throughout the process, right? So because it's such a good and open dialogue. We often say what we think we can achieve successfully and what we don't think we can achieve successfully within a given period of time, or the environment, and things that we know that we can make look good, and things that sometimes we know that we have a really hard time doing. So yeah, we give those recommendations throughout the whole process, from the beginning. So once we get those first scripts, all the way through to the delivery.
Have you ever had an instance where they say, "Well, we really need to make this happen"?
Yeah, there's definitely parts where you go back to a drawing board and you have to figure out how to accomplish those tasks, right? Because there's things about the story that are really important to the fans too, right? So when those are brought to attention, like, well, we really need to figure out how to do that. And then and Andy goes back and does a bunch of research, and we try to find practical ways or environments and things that he can be inspired by in art, and to make that. But yeah, those things happen. They always do, right? Like, there's a wish and a want from somebody, whether it's Rafe or it's one of the producers or whether it's one of the actors even, that we go back and try to figure out. Because we could pretty much do anything in time and money, right? So it happens.
With how collaborative the process is, and obviously it's not a very linear process at all. Were there instances where things kind of happened down the line where you had to go back and retroactively update or change or make changes to existing visuals?
That's a good question. We do. So it's a learning process, right? So you go all the way down a certain path, and then you find something that worked better. Now you have to go back and ripple that thing that worked better through all those previous things you do. We try not to do that a lot because it's very costly, but it does happen, right? And as you learn more about the project, and as you learn more about what's being required or what people want out of it, then you evolve. And some of that evolving goes backwards, and updates and certain types of work, especially if we come up with something really cool later on. And then we have to that's kind of the same thing here. If we have to reapply that and go back and redo a shot or something like that, it does happen. Not very often, but it does happen.
And do those ever ripple out into other departments as well?
We do, yeah. I mean, if there's something that doesn't necessarily work for us and what we were being asked to accomplish, and then we talk to any other department that could help out in that arena to make our lives a little bit easier. But yeah, it does happen.
How has working on the Wheel of Time changed you? I know as a project manager, I do like trading floors. Every time I do a project, I learn something new that I take with me to my next project.
Yeah.
What was something how's this show changed you? Or what's something that you've learned from working on this?
It's like you just said, it's always a learning process, right? So there's so many little nuances of things like technology and things that you can get, things that you can logistically have that make our lives easier. Visual effects has been global for a long time, but this is the first chance that I've had to work really, really globally. I do I'm on location, but I'm also in LA, but I'm also in London, so that experience has been interesting. And it's been a lot of fun.
Sorry for the jet lag.
No, I came from LA here, so I'm good. All right.
Oh no, more questions? Okay.
Well, I guess, is there anything that that you've learned that you're taking into season 3, or anything that you're looking forward to as season 3 is in production right now?
Yeah, the one thing I'll say there is we're excited about season 3 as well. I think that you'll see over the course of season 2, I think you'll see a progression in our work from the beginning towards the end if things progressively get better. And we're excited to take, basically we're 208 completed, and take that look and in quality of work and just escalate from there. Just keep it going and keep pushing to make it better and better, produce the best quality product that we can. So yeah.
Is season 3 bigger in scale? Like, are there more locations?
Everything's bigger. Always bigger.
Going to more countries?
No, I don't know if it's more different, but yeah, like once you accomplish something, you always want to make it bigger, right? You want to make it bigger. You want to make it better. You want to improve on the quality, and that's what we're aiming to do.
Is your team scaling with the project?
Our teams do scale. We must have done a pretty good job because our entire team wanted to come back for the next round. So we have our whole team, and we add to it. Yeah. So. Yeah.
Well, I have a last question. Right now we have a lot of so many fantasy TV shows. You know, how you do for create VFX for the viewers or for the people don't feel is the same thing for the other shows. You know, for be different.
How do we make something different than all the other shows?
Yes.
I think Andy does a lot of work looking at different shows, and there is a real focus to not have something that we do look like something else that's already out there, and trying to make it unique to our show. So there's a lot of effort put into that, and there's a lot of research that goes into that, and there's a lot of look development, and there's a lot of R&D that we go through to make stuff unique for us that doesn't look like other shows. So I think he was probably the best person to talk to that specifically, but I can just say that there's a lot of work that goes into making stuff our stuff look unique. Good.
So, thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
I know my part's not as exciting. So.
It's important work. It's very important.